Um, I'm still trying to tweak around with this new tripod where it's located. I could move it a little closer, but it also would interfere with the steering wheel. I'm just trying to do what I can, so I don't know. I haven't learned how to do that, but yeah, experimenting. All right, folks, so it is Wednesday morning, and my brother, Monday, he went to the doctor's appointment. He made it all the way through, even got blood work done. Yay, these are spirit hands, jazz hands, as in clapping. Okay. Um, yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday, I took him to Goodwill because he asked me to. And because I thought he did so well at the doctor's office, even though it took a lot of work. Okay, I went through that in the other video. So with that in mind, please make sure you like and subscribe, um, and check out the videos about my brother going to the doctor and the reasons why it's so hard to get him there, because he runs out of them in panic attacks. Okay, just saying, he's mentally ill. He's also disabled. It is a lot. Okay. Um, I'm a biohacker, singer songwriter. I say all this to say because some of it all works together. Um, Meaning the things that I tell people on my channel, on this channel, it all comes together because of these conditions. Like, um, my brother has been disabled for about 20 years now, a little over 20 years. And, so yeah, we could talk about that later, or you can just watch all the videos in the series. All right, so there's all that. Okay, so I'm heading to the grocery store. So yeah, so the quick rundown: he went to the doctor Monday, made it through successfully. Yesterday, I took him to Goodwill, where he started his, I call them shenanigans, but really, I think he doesn't realize that he's confused and having an episode. Just like I don't think he realizes he has panic attacks. Okay? He's not self aware enough to realize those things, that what's happening to him. So, yeah, he went in there wanting to buy things. He had money, he had some money. See, that's the other thing. He had enough money for some shoes. He bought some new, or I guess new to him, some Adidas. So he got some. They're nice and clean, like back in the day when the people took care of their sneakers and stuff. So now they're reselling them or whatever. So he got some good ones at the Goodwill. And again, luckily I went in there and saw that he was like glitching. And what I mean by glitching is like he doesn't realize that, yeah, you're in a public space with other people, and he is afraid of people he doesn't know. And he's definitely afraid of medical care people and police types. Okay, so if you look, even if you're a security guard and you look like an official, like, he's mortally afraid. Okay. um so yeah, so he's like wandering through the Goodwill, which was not even that big of a store, like going back and forth, darting around, like, think about a fish in a goldfish bowl. So he was just kind of like, right here, right here, right here, right here, right here, and spinning around through the aisles and stuff, trying to avoid people, until I finally got up to him and I was like, hey, what's going on? So he had a couple of things he wanted to buy. And again, this is on video. Some of it, I don't know if I want to release that particular video. So I did a second one for the second part, what happened yesterday. So he wanted me to buy the shoes and the satchel, but then he was like, wait, I don't have enough money for the satchel. So he gave me his money for the shoes. So I went and got him the shoes, and then I brought him the bag, and I was like, all right, so let's go. And he didn't want to go. So he kept trying to walk around looking for things. He said, oh, I want to talk to the person that works here. So, the lady was in the aisles putting clothes away or whatever. And so we walk over to her, And then he starts talking, and what he does, y'all, he doesn't really speak complete sentences. He thinks he is, and people don't understand him. And so he's kind of gibberishly talking to her, and she's like, I don't know. And then he kind of instantly looks to me to like translate what he wants. But the thing is, I asked him, what do you want to ask before we went up to anybody? And he didn't want to tell me. So that's what I'm saying. He's glitching out. He doesn't know what he wants. He thinks he knows what he wants, but then he's like, how to get that is not clicking. So he refused me when I asked him, well, what do you want to ask them? And then we walk over to the lady. He tries to ask her if she doesn't understand, and then he instantly, sorry, I'm letting the window down because I cannot see a lot of condensation and dew on my windows and stuff. And then he looks to me like I can read his mind, which I can a little bit. But anyway, so it's like, well, you didn't want me to know what you wanted to ask. And then he spins out again. And so I stood there by the door. Meanwhile, I talked to the security. He comes back into the line with some gummies, like gumdrop gummies, like sugary peach rings or whatever those things are. And they were like $2. And so I meet up with him at the cash register. This is where, again, the things start happening. So he gets there, and then he asks her, can I have it for free? And he keeps asking, can I have it for free? And then she looks at me like what? And I started to tell him, it's like, no, you can't have it for free. And then he's like, I'm asking her. And then she's awkwardly like not knowing what to say to him. And I, so then I go ahead and buy them and give him the bag. And then he's like trying to refuse it. He says, oh, I want socks. I want this and that. So again, he's not really executively thinking at all. So again, I let him spin out a little bit more in the store. So I stand there at the counter, and then I'm thinking preemptively, okay, so the thing is this. He's in a loop, and I got to get him out the loop. So he's going to come to the counter again, and he's starting to get other things out off the racks. I'm also trying to be careful about, like, I think he's trying to, like, take the things and just walk out the store with it. And again, it doesn't have to go that far with him. So I stand there at the door for a while, and then I go and talk to the cashier when I get a chance to. I tell her, when he comes up again, tell him how much this stuff is. If he doesn't respond, just tell him that he needs to leave. His sister is waiting outside in the car. It's like, you got to be firm, because then he'll leave. He will leave. But you got to tell him, if you don't have enough money, this is how much it costs. We don't give away things for free. And so I step right outside of the Goodwill, and that's where, again, there is that video you can see for right now, where he does come out, and he simply just walks back to the car with me. So it's like, again, like he's in this little glitchy like thing that he wants to buy. And I know that might be like shopping addiction or something, but there's worse things out there. At least he's not trying to go get substances to take, because he doesn't take them. He doesn't drink. He doesn't have any money. So that's the thing. It's like, I think part of it is the fact that he thinks he doesn't have money, but he spends it and forgets that he spends it. Back to this memory thing. So with all the things that's happened, that's improved with him, he doesn't remember things. That was Tuesday morning. And so the rest of the day, I just kind of was like, oh, whatever. Okay, Walmart, I don't know what y'all are doing here. So, this morning, he's kind of in an irritable mood. I can kind of tell because last night he was in an irritable mood, because he also placed orders online, and he'll keep saying that it's in the mail, like it's in the mailboxes. He's not reading his emails correctly. When they're shipped, they send an email. When it's passing customs, which was yesterday, they'll send an email. It doesn't mean that it's in the mailbox. And so he's like kind of harassing the folks down at the clubhouse every day, like, check the emails. And then there's a feature on the bigger mailboxes that you can kind of type a code, and they told me that he's memorized one of the mail carrier's codes. And so now his face is being scanned, and they told me that luckily I don't have a credit card on the thing, because boy, I'd have lit him up. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna just be honest that the charge would have been $700 because he's scanning his face and trying to check the mailboxes, and he's opening up mailboxes that he should not be opening. So today I'm going to send them an email and say, listen, can you send me something in paper so I can give it to him? Because he won't stop unless he thinks he's being charged. Because that's the only thing that's, that will deter him. Like, this is how much money you owe them. So every time you do that, you owe them money. So maybe that'll make him stop. That's my theory now. Okay. All right. So I'm at the store. I did briefly look at his blood work yesterday. They finally sent the results. Everything is pretty much normal. His glucose is high. And again, there's only so much I can do when he's out there like scrounging around for sugar and all the stuff. I try to, on my end, make sure he's eating as healthy as possible. Now, his glucose is not high, like it's not majorly high. It is slightly elevated. It's in the danger zone. I'll just say that. Okay. But I'm just trying to find ways to cut that sugar down, like strategically for him. But it's hard when all he wants to do is eat sugar, and thus the SAD, the standard American diet, is very sad indeed. So now you know why I have the channel that I have, the Body Electric supplement. So I try to make sure he eats healthy, gets the right kind of supplements. There's some things that have elevated in his blood work. I might do a video on that too, y'all, based on his last blood work. I think was in February that I saw, compared to now in November. And there's some things that have gotten better. And then the glucose is pretty much still there, the issue. Um, but yeah, I've been working on him, you know. And even though somebody might be disabled or mentally ill, the improvements can be made. And that's the thing. I think people give up and they just think that everything is just either this or that, this or that, this or that. It's like, it's a process. And as the folks out there say, trust the process. Okay. All right, y'all. So, yeah, I'm going to pick up some stuff from the store and might come on later. Who knows? Have a good one, though. Take care.